Hi, it's Colin Coward. I started The Volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks.
I want to backtrack a little bit and talk again about pre-star Zach LaVine. And what I want to talk about is actually an event that I attended with a bright-ass yellow jacket on. That was the dunk contest. I'm not sure I would ever wear that. Well, I didn't believe I would ever wear that jacket again. I actually gave a jacket to Mr. Fab because I'm like, I'll never wear this again. I was thinking about that jacket a couple nights ago. Like, man, I should have kept that jacket. I'll throw that on with some all black nowadays and rock out. But I personally thought that was, and I've watched a ton of dunk contests. I'm 31. I've probably been watching the dunk contest since I was 4 or 5 years old. I personally thought that was one of the best dunk contests I've ever seen. And it was pretty much what it came down to was you and Aaron Gordon. If I'm not mistaken, DeMar was in that dunk contest.
No, DeMar, what he was going to be. I remember talking to him because we played Toronto like 3 days before the All-Star break. And he said, man, I was going to be, because it was in Toronto. He said, bro, I was about to be in the All-Star, the dunk contest until you put your name in there.
And I remember correctly, he was like, man, I'm not about to jump with them young.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, do you feel like that was one of the best dunk contests ever?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't base anything on era and like impact like what Dominique and Michael had or like Vince's dunk contest, but you have to put that up there to be one of the best dunk contests just on the pure skill, athleticism in the 50s that we were doing. And it was a toss-up, and it just came down to who had the best dunk at the end of the overtime. And I tried to go between the legs and the free throw line. That was the first time I tried that, and I made it. So
that's the first time you ever tried that?
That was the first time I ever tried it. First time and only time. Happy, so.
Wow. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. And obviously that was up against Aaron Gordon, who went on to give himself the nickname Mr. 50. What do you think or make of that?
I mean, AG, look, he's had a bunch of times where he could have won a dunk contest. Absolutely. And it's sometimes it's unfortunate because not everybody can win. And I mean, at the end of it, even said, like, hey, man, look, we should both be sharing this because just for the culture and for what we did for this, event, it was big time. But, AG definitely is going to be cemented in dunk contest history, even if he didn't win it.
No, I agree 100%. I actually thought the same thing. Like, man, just stop this now. Let them both win.
Yeah.
And we go on about our night because Toronto was definitely a great time. But can you ever see yourself participating in the dunk contest again, or are those days behind you?
Oh, it's over. Yeah, it's over. It's done. I try. I can still get up, that, but it's not the forefront of my mind anymore. And now with me logging more and more minutes, I was only playing like 28 minutes a game then, so I can go out there and jump all the time. So no, I'm saving my dunks for if you try to come over and set a charge or something like that.
That's the thing, though. I'm never coming over and try to set the charge. I think you didn't try it before I blocked it.
Yeah, you blocked it.
And then you try, and I got out the way. I ain't no fool. What you're not dealing with here is a fool. I'm not crazy. I keep trying to tell Miles Bridges, who infamously went out and said publicly that the one guy he wants to dunk on is me. Yeah. I try to tell Miles all the time, you're not going to dunk on me. And the reason you're not going to dunk on me is because I'm only going to jump if I know I have the advantage.
Yeah.
And if there is even an inkling of not having the advantage, and when I say advantage, I don't mean advantage to block the shot. Although you want to block the shot. I need to be in a position where I can foul you where you can't make that shot. And I try to tell Miles this all the time, like, Miles, I'm only going to block your shot, foul you, or move out the way. Those won't equal out to you dunking on me. It's just not going to happen. So you may want to take that word of advice too. But Prime MJ, Kobe, VC, and you, what's happening in that dunk contest?
Wow. See, a lot of people don't put Kobe in there, and Kobe was one hell of a dunker, man.
Hey, now. That's how I first learned about Kobe, was in the dunk contest with the fro between the legs. Like, back then, between the legs wasn't common. you know, you got. I think
simple. Yeah,
exactly. Like Isaiah Ryder had did it, but it wasn't a common dunk, and Kobe was doing all that. But what's happening in that dunk contest?
I mean, MJ's going to get the biggest fan reaction. You can argue. Vince is going to come with like the most, I would say, creative, because it's going to be a toss-up, man. I don't never put myself against anyone. I think it'll be me and Vince in the final, you know. But I think Vince might take me, because Vince, I always go against the guys that, you know, came before me. And Vince came with some stuff. It'll be me or Vince. It just depends on who makes their first dunk. That's what I'll say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach LaVine just eliminated Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Let that marinate for a minute. No,
it's a dunk contest.
Let that marinate. It's funny because last week, as I said, we had T-Mac on, and I asked T-Mac. I said, T-Mac, back in those Raptor days, you know how you jumping guys do after practice, y'all doing all the dunks while I go sit down and watch and talk my junk. But I was asking him, I said, you or Vince back in those days dunking? And with like, he didn't even blink. Vince Carter, by far. Like, not even close. And so it's interesting that that's who you went with as well. Because I don't think people realize, number one, how athletic Vince was, but number two, how good of a player Vince was.
How good of a dunker almost trumped how good of a player he was. Like, the dude's a straight up Hall of Famer, 26,000 points, average, 28, 29, 30 points per game a couple times. Like, you don't do that by dunking. You're off the chart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I always tell people, I think Vince had an incredible career, and I think he is one of the most talented players that has ever stepped foot in the NBA. So it's great to see you give him his flowers, because that doesn't happen often. And like I said, when you're talking any category that includes Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and and the two other guys are the ones that walk out of that conversation, because I too believe that you would have been up there. You put on one of the greatest dunk contest performances that we've ever seen, and not once, but twice. And so I 2 times, right?
What's funny about you? Remember how you just said T-Mac and Vince would dunk after practice? You want to know who beat me in a dunk contest that you wouldn't think of?
Wiggs.
Exactly.
Listen, man, I have this picture on my phone.
I'm trying to tell you.
I have this picture on my phone of Wiggs jumping, and he literally jumped for a rebound. And his neck is above the square.
Yeah.
The top of the square. Like, I couldn't believe it.
He never wanted to do it. He would just casually, like, after practice, he would just casually do some stuff I'd never seen before. I'd be like, wow. And that's going, I did what I did in dunk contest. It was crazy.